Welcome to Off the Grid, a podcast for small business owners who want to leave social media without losing all their clients.
Let's go off the grid. Okay. Let's go off the grid. Okay. I know that you really want to put your phone away. Yeah. Let's go off the grid.
Hi, friends. Welcome back to Off the Grid, a podcast about leaving social media without losing all your clients, or as I like to think about it, a show about running a successful, sustainable, creative business in a way that allows our values to remain intact, that allows us to stay connected to our bodies, to nurture our innermost creative spirit, and to share our magical work with the world. I'm your host, Amelia Ruby, and alongside my work on this show, I am also the founder and executive producer at Softer Sounds, which is a feminist podcast studio for entrepreneurs and creatives. I am sharing this the week of Halloween or Samhain or any spooky holiday that you like to celebrate in late October. And while I typically keep things like pretty practical here on the podcast, I also, on occasion, will mention the magical and spiritual practices that support my work behind the scenes. And I really wanted to bring some of those more mystical, magical, alchemical practices to the forefront of the show to celebrate spooky season, late October, Halloween, all of the above. And when I thought about doing that, I was like, well, I like pull some tarot cards. I have some basic rituals. But what I really want to know is how some of my favorite self-employed folks integrate magic into their work, particularly the ones that I know work with magic in a much more like in front of the scenes kind of way. Is that the opposite of behind the scenes? A public way, I suppose, is how I should say that. So today we are joined by three brilliant practitioners who are each going to share a unique and powerful biz magic ritual with us. There are a variety of rituals in today's episode, but they are all ways that these folks support their personal creative practice, their energetic body, and their business in staying connected and flourishing over time. If you press play on this episode and you're feeling a little skeptical, like, Amelia, I don't really know if I need more magic in my business, I just want to take a moment to say that no matter your personal relationship to magic or spirituality or even religion, which this podcast isn't going to talk about religion, but it is going to talk about magic and spirituality, no matter your relationship to those things, I think that if you are a creative business owner, if your work relies on your creative output in any way, then it is important to tend to your creative spirit. And I think that magical and spiritual practices are often the best ways to do that. Because even as someone who loves, capital L-O-V-E-S, loves strategy and visioning, that alone does not stoke my inner creative fire. Like, I can strategize all day long, but I still have to have those reserves of creative energy and life force to actually bring to life the things that I have envisioned through my strategic planning. And I think that is where I turn to these more mystical, magical, alchemical practices. It's to serve that creative spark inside of me. And so I would just invite you, if you're not totally sure how magic fits into your practice, to give this episode a listen with an open mind. You do not have to do any of these things, but I invite you to tiptoe into them and think about if there is a way that you could tend to your creativity a little deeper or differently in this season. And if you're one of my friends who is tuned in and is like, Amelia, I am so on board with magic, I wish you talked about it all the time, then today's episode is absolutely for you, my friend, because we are going to talk about magical rituals for creative business owners. So all of that shared, I want to introduce you to the amazing practitioners who have contributed to today's episode. Our first contributor is Brigitte Marie. Brigitte is a systems and self-care witch who builds intentional systems for neurodivergent creatives who want to feel proud, successful, and get shit done. Brigitte makes Notion templates and custom workspaces that are a launchpad to helping you cross the finish line on your projects and goals. And I would add that Brigitte's work is particularly supportive for neurodivergent creators and entrepreneurs. So I love how she speaks to that in both her general work and what she shares here. And in this episode, she is going to offer us her own personal practices on how she creates rituals for opening and closing her work day and her work week. And as she shares what she does, she just offers so many ideas for how we can all create clearer, more supported containers for our work. And honestly, since Brigitte submitted this, I've started implementing some of these ideas and it's working so well. Our second contributor is Cecily Sailer. Cecily is a creative coach, writer, and tarot reader. She runs a business called Typewriter Tarot, which is a sanctuary and learning community for creative mystics. Cecily also published a book this year called Tarot for Creative Spirits. Full disclosure that book was a sponsor on my other podcast, My Tiny Tarot Practice. And through that sponsorship, I just got to know Cecily really well. And I have so much respect and appreciation for her approach to the tarot. And I'm really excited for the offering that she brings us today, which is a community tarot reading to connect with the spirits of our business, as well as a suggested tarot spread for you to do that yourself if you have a tarot or oracle deck of choice that you would like to use as your own biz magic ritual. And finally, our third contributor is Ash Canty. Ash is an Afro-Indigenous, queer, transmasculine psychic medium, mentor, and death guide. He is also the creator of his business, The Sovereign Spirit Medium, and all of the millions of umbrellas that are underneath that, which he manages and runs and also lets go of all of the time. I am a big fan of Ash's work, and Ash offers us this meditative visualization sort of practice that, similar to Cecily, invites us to connect with our business spirit, with the energy of our business in this case. And Ash says that this specific version of this practice really serves anyone tuned in who may be asking yourself something like, what do I do when everything goes quiet in my business? What do I do when things feel really slow? What do I do when I put a thing out there and nothing happens in response to it? So if you have been asking yourself things like that, I think that this practice from Ash will really serve you. And I've put it third in the episode because this is the most experiential of the practices. And so as you're listening, by the time you get there, if you want to find yourself in, a quiet space where you can actually do the practice as Ash guides us through it, I think that could really support you. Of course, if you're driving, walking around, doing your thing, you can just kind of listen to it and experience it and then come back to it another time when you have more space to really work with it. But it's so powerful and has really been helping me get through some big questions in my business this season. And I am just truly so grateful to Ash, to Cecily, and to Brigitte for the rituals that they have offered us today. So hopefully I have raved about their work enough that you are already sprinting to the show notes to head to their websites and sign up for their newsletters. And while you do that, we're going to go ahead and dive into this episode, my friends. So we will kick things off with Brigitte's ritual, and then you'll hear a lovely little magic wand sound effect, and we'll go straight into Cecily's contribution, and then finally Ash's share. And then I will pop back on at the very, very, very end to wrap us up. That's enough for me. Let's go ahead and dive into our first Biz Magic ritual from Brigitte Marie.
Hi, I'm Brigitte, she, her. I'm a systems and self-care witch, and I build intentional systems for neurodivergent creatives who want to feel proud, successful, and get shit done. I make Notion templates and custom workspaces that are a launchpad to helping you cross the finish line on your projects and goals. Today, I'm going to be telling you about my opening and closing rituals for my workdays. A lot of what I do, I consider to be practical magic. Most of it might not even look like magic at first because they seem to be simple, mundane tasks. But I believe there's magic in the mundane, especially if it's a small action step that's moving you closer to your goals and extra especially if you infuse conscious intentions into the task. I use these rituals to help me stay focused, which is super important for my ADHD. I'm very mindful of helpful resources that enable me to focus and get things done, and these rituals help me do just that. And while I focus on creating solutions for neurodivergent folks in my work, these practices can benefit anyone looking to connect more deeply and build an intentional practice around the way that you work. I find these rituals particularly helpful as a solopreneur that works from home to help me separate my workday from my regular living at home time. So I'm better able to thrive in each of these containers. I open my work week at the start of every Monday by doing my Monday Hour One process, aka my weekly planning. And I start my weekly review check in. I do all of this inside of the productivity software Notion on my daily dashboard, which is my go to page to get tasks done. I have a checklist that walks me through all the steps of my planning process, from scheduling and organizing my tasks each day to starting my weekly check in, which I have set up as a template. So I'm not starting from a blank page each week. During that check in, I do a mini brain dump journaling session to tap into the vibes that I want to cultivate for the week. And I choose an accompanying intention, AKA an affirmation, AKA a magical spell. And what I do for that vibe sesh is I set a 5-minute timer and I go to town on my keyboard, just dumping out anything and everything that's in my brain regarding myself, life, my business, and the direction that I want to move towards. From that brain dump, I choose a focus or theme of what came up, and that's how I form my intention or my magical spell. This intention is to help keep me focused during the week. I paste it onto my daily dashboard and I write it onto my whiteboard next to my desk so I'm reminded of it visually. Then, whenever I'm feeling lost, down, or overwhelmed during the week, I can say my little magical spell to help get me back on track. That's how I open my week, and this is how I open my workday every morning. I like to start by lighting a candle, burning herbs, and walking the smoke around my room while saying my weekly intention. Then I sit down at my desk and pull an oracle card for an extra dose of magical wisdom for the day. Then I turn on my computer, open Notion to my daily dashboard, and I'm ready to work. All of those little pieces help me to build a more conscious connection to the room that I'm working within, to myself that morning, to my goals and intentions, and to transition myself into the work that I'm going to be doing for that day. That ritual signifies to my brain it's time to work. At the end of the day, I'm usually pretty tired, so I keep my closing ritual simple and do my best practical magic. I close out of all of my apps and software. I close the lid to my laptop, turn off my mouse and keyboard, and blow out my candle. These actions signify to my brain that the workday is over, helping my brain transition from work mode into relaxing and living life at home mode. I've found that it's also really helpful because my office is a multi purpose room that I do things like yoga in. So when I see all of my work things are closed down and put away, my mind can be more at ease to enjoy the rest of life that I'm focusing on instead of trying to jump back into work things. To close out the week, I do my weekly review. This is in the same Notion page I started my weekly check in on Monday to keep things simple for my brain. I do some devotional journaling to my business, which is just another brain dump journaling session. I go over the tasks that I worked on. I reschedule any leftover tasks from this week and process my inbox. I also do my fire gratitude ritual, which is where I write something that I'm grateful for, something that I'm releasing, and something that I'm calling in on a little piece of paper. And I burn it in thanks along with any leftover herbs from my opening rituals. This closes the container of my Monday week opening ritual where I chose my herbs, intentions, and tasks for the week. This ritual helps me transition into weekend time and prepares me with a fresh slate to start the process all over again on Monday. It gives my brain freedom from my work tasks, knowing I tucked everything away into my work container and it'll be ready and waiting for me Monday when I open that work container back up. And that gives me the freedom to open up all my weekend life containers and pursue my joys, hobbies, relationships, all of that I love without getting bogged down by work. I'd love to offer you a free duplicate of my Notion daily dashboard template so you can start organizing your weekly tasks with more ease and intention. And if you'd like support in creating a custom Notion workspace that operates for your unique brain, sign up for a free consult on my website and let's chat about what your dream Notion system could look like. You can also stay in touch with me by signing up for my newsletter on my website, brigitteflick.studio, and by subscribing to my YouTube channel at brigittemarie.energydesign. I'd love to hear about your opening and closing rituals for your workdays. Feel free to shoot me a message through my site.
Hello, everyone. My name is Cecily Sailer. I'm a creativity coach. I'm a writer and tarot reader, and I run a business called Typewriter Tarot, which I think of as a sanctuary and learning community for creative mystics. It should come perhaps as no surprise that the practice I want to offer is a tarot reading to help you connect with and communicate with the spirit of your business. I like to think of my business as having a spirit of its own. I imagine it's actually existed as a spiritual presence for centuries, perhaps. Perhaps it's manifested as different businesses throughout the centuries. And at this time, it's chosen me as its steward. And so we're working together to support creative people, to help creative folks find the mystical and spiritual part of what it means to be creative and how we can be creative in a way that's really aligned with something higher and greater than just the everyday, frankly, crap that capitalism forces upon us. So that's how I imagine the spirit of my business. And there's more to it that I won't share with you here, but I invite you to just take a moment and think about if your business has a spirit, what kind of spirit might it be? Do you imagine it like an animal or a light being or some character from history or a movie or a book you've read? Anything is fine. And this is an imaginative exercise, but just see what comes to you initially when you think about the spirit of your business and what it might be like. And just go with the first image or idea that comes to you. This is an imaginative process, so it can change over time. And you might see the spirit of your business in different forms, in different ways as time goes on. And all of that is beautiful. But I think of the spirit of my business as my business partner. And we work together to guide our work, to show up in the spirit of our mission, and to keep moving forward, even when things feel difficult. So I encourage you to, if you like this idea, to consider meeting with your business spirit regularly, whether once a week or once a month or definitely once a quarter. And the spread we're going to use is just meant to help you have a conversation with the spirit of your business, to ask some questions and see what it has to say. So, kind of like, again, meeting with your business partner, getting on the same page. Where are we going together from here? I'm going to pull cards for all of us and make this a reading for the collective, even though there are many people out there listening with many different kinds of businesses, but take the messages that work for you. If they're helpful, please take them as messages specifically for you. They are for you. And if not, then I encourage you to pull cards for yourself and see what comes up. I will also finally encourage you, if you're new to tarot, to make sure you're centering your own experience with the card first and foremost. Really give yourself some space to look at the image, really study it, connect with it, look at what's going on, what's moving, what's still, what characters are there, what colors are coming forward. And rather than going straight to the guidebook to try to get an answer, really center your own initial responses to the card. Tarot is a really beautiful and powerful way to grow your connection with your intuition. But if you jump straight to the guidebook, you're kind of robbing yourself of that opportunity to some degree. So, with all that said, let's dive in. This is a 5-card spread. And the first question we're asking the spirit of our business is, how are you arriving to meet me today? So how is the spirit of our business showing up to the meeting? What kind of energy are they bringing? What's their mood? What's their vibe? What should we notice about how they're walking in the door? And in response to this question, we have the 7 of Wands, which is a fire card. Fire is like passion, creativity, adventure. And in this card, I'm using the Fifth Spirit Tarot deck by Charlie Claire Burgess, a really wonderful, queered, fun deck. And in the 7 of Wands, we see this single wand in the middle, and it's kind of floating in space. And the top half of the wand has these pink flowers growing out of it and green leaves. And there's this cute little red salamander kind of curled around the back, peeking out to look at us. And the bottom of the wand has a bandage around it. So at the bottom, it's kind of wounded, but at the top, it's very alive and vibrant. And then down in the bottom part of the card are these 6 other wands that are kind of reaching toward that main wand that's floating there. And these other 6 wands are on fire. A few of them, one's pointed like a spear, one has nails hammered through it like a club. So this kind of aggressive energy reaching toward this beautiful wounded wand there in the middle. And so this card is telling me that our business spirits feel a little bit beleaguered, and they've really been doing a lot of work trying to stake their claim in the world and say, I'm here, I belong here, I'm beautiful, I have something really beautiful to offer. And I just see these other 6 wands coming at the main wand as kind of like all the insidious, again, crap from capitalism that makes it difficult to be a business owner, a solopreneur, a creative business owner who's trying to do something really interesting and different. We don't get a lot of support in our society for being out on our own, trying to make money, doing something that we love. So I see the spirit of our businesses showing up still strong, still vibrant, still growing and thriving, but a little bit tired from really always trying to have to like put ourselves out there and really, really work overtime to say, like, I'm here, I'm available, I would love to help, I would love to be paid for my work. Our next question asks, how am I arriving to meet you today? So how are we, the business owners, showing up to this meeting? And here we have the 7 of Pentacles, which is really interesting. We have 2 sevens, one for the business, one for us. So there's a parallel going on there. And in the Seven of Pentacles, which is connected with Earth, we see this really beautiful bush growing on a trellis. It's labeled peas. So this is a pea plant, and there's strangely 7 pumpkins growing from this pea plant. There's a shovel nearby and some gardening scissors on the ground. The plant looks very healthy. It's grown all the way up to the top of the trellis. It's producing these lovely fruits. And so we might be arriving to this meeting really trying to kind of look at what we've harvested over the course of the year. This is the final harvest time of the year. At least in ancient times, it was considered the final harvest. And so we're also moving into winter when it becomes more difficult to really produce and put a lot out there. And so this might be a time when we're really kind of running through, what have we accomplished? What have we created? What are we harvesting? Did we accomplish the goals that we wanted to? Which ones did we accomplish? Which ones did we miss? What other things did we create that surprised us? So our business spirit might be coming a little tired and bedraggled, and we're trying to come with hey, look what we've done. Look what we've accomplished. Let's check in about that. Our third question is, how can I best support our mission today? And here we have the 10 of Cups, which shows this pyramid of cups with water overflowing in all of them. The top 3 cups have little beautiful goldfish splashing up and out. This is a really lovely card, lots of movement and flow. And so this makes me think that we can best support the mission of our businesses by really connecting with what brings us joy, noticing where the flow is happening, and really appreciating what has already come into the business, whether that's new community members, new clients, new connections, and also just taking a moment to really appreciate what we love about the work that we do, what brings us joy, what are those really beautiful satisfactions from doing work that you love, and really putting a lot of your energy behind creating something that you truly believe in. Our fourth question is, what advice or guidance do you have for me? So we're asking the spirit of our businesses for some advice or guidance. And here we have the Knight of Swords, which is the fastest moving knight of the 4 knights. This knight is riding downhill on a bicycle, going very quickly, holding a sword, their braids flowing behind them in the wind. And so the advice I think we're getting is to keep taking action, to keep doing the things that you think need to get done to execute the vision of your business. Like I said, we're coming closer to the winter season when things tend to slow down for many businesses. So this may be a really important time to not sit on the things that you want to get done, but actually keep plugging away such that your energy allows. Let it all come together and be really committed to the vision that you're having for what's coming next in your work. And then our final question is, how are we moving forward together? Business owner and spirit of the business in this partnership, how do we move forward together? And here we have the Emperor, which shows a figure holding one hand up in front of their face, and there's some tools and cogs kind of floating there. By the right arm, there's a blueprint rolled up as a scroll. There's some pencils and measuring tape and a screwdriver and some nails and a cube. And the Emperor is really about taking up the space that we need to take up. The Emperor is a very confident card. It's one of self-ownership and self-possession. And so even in this difficult time, trying to run a small business in a system that economically doesn't support that, our work is to show up in belief of what we want to share and what we've created, to keep creating the ecosystem of your business that works for you. And This is a very powerful card to see for this question. How are we moving forward together? This is really a card of claiming and naming and setting out the boundaries of your business and the systems of your business that I imagine are going to help us succeed and flourish in the coming year. So, really quick, once again, those questions are: how are you arriving to meet me today? How am I arriving to meet you today? How can I best support our mission? And what advice or guidance do you have for me? And then finally, how are we moving forward together? If you pull cards for yourself, I recommend taking some time to journal about the cards you get and the messages you see. And I hope this is helpful. If you're interested in learning more about my work, you can head to typewritertarot.com. If you join my email list, you'll get the first 3 journaling prompts from my workbook, Tarot for Creative Spirits, which is designed to help you learn tarot through your own personal experience and perspective. And I also invite you to check out my podcast, Your Creative and Magical Life, where we explore tarot archetypes through conversations with creative and magical humans. And as it happens, Amelia is our next featured guest and will be on the podcast in November, where we're going to explore the Hanged One. It's a really beautiful interview, and I hope you'll check it out. You can find Your Creative and Magical Life on Apple and Spotify and all the other spots. And I'm wishing everyone out there lots of magic and creativity and success in your work. Thank you for doing what you do and bringing your magic into the world. Take care.
Hello, everyone. It's an honor to be in your ears today and to be guiding you into this practice. My name is Ash. My pronouns are he, him. I am an Afro-Indigenous, queer, trans, masculine, psychic medium, mentor, and death guide. And I'm also the co-creator of my business, The Sovereign Spirit Medium, and all the millions of umbrellas that are underneath that I manage and run and also let go of all the time. And I really wanted to share this practice because I find that so many times working with my clients one-to-one and even in programs, there is this question around what to do when nothing is moving in your business, when it feels like there's a standstill and there's crickets and it's like, hello? Is anyone out there? What's going on? And I know this very well. At the start of my business in 2020, after a bout of severe illness that almost took my life, I was brought back into this realm we call Earth, and my whole life changed and shifted. And from that experience, I wasn't afraid of anything anymore. I wasn't afraid of death. I wasn't afraid of life. And I wasn't afraid of making mistakes or being in the mystery of it all. And so the foundation of my business and what I do and who I am is all under that ethos of really believing in the spirit of my business and trusting it 1,000%. And what I mean by the spirit of my business also, because I do use my own language, my own words sometimes, that is how I describe the energy, right? The spirit of my business is the energy behind what I do. Because I'm a psychic medium and because I channel spirits who are what I call on the other side for people and for live audiences and for groups, I have the data and the experience in my body over 6 years that has indicated to me everything has energy. And the reason I'm able to even do what I do is because I am channeling an energy. So the spirit of my business is an energy or an entity or a color or a shape or a texture. Really, the energy can take whatever form it is that speaks to you, but it has an energy. And in that energy, it also has a relationship with you, right? The spirit of your business wants to speak to you, is what I have found, wants to engage and wants to offer support, right? When you most need to hear it. So this practice is really for those who are in this question of like, what do I do when everything goes quiet? What do I do when things feel slow? What do I do when the thing I put out there, nothing happens in response to it? Because it's happened to me many, many, many times in the work that I do and still happens to me today. And at this point, I would say I have such strong trust because I do these practices on a regular basis that I don't really have any reaction when the quiet comes, when the cycle of everything laying fallow comes, right? When the darkness of winter comes. I know that everything is cyclical and everything works in these oscillations and in these seasons, right? Nothing is forever summer or forever winter or forever spring. At least here in the Northeast, everything, right, changes, right? So I want to bring that in as a framework for working with these tools. The practices that I offer are always an invitation to decolonize the current structures that white supremacy has us believe. So all of the work that I do and offer, even in my channeling, is decolonizing what we've been told does not exist or is not real. And actually coming back to a place of reclaiming our imaginal realms as power. And I come from this stance because of my background and my indigenous ancestors, right? I come from peoples who speak with land, speak with animal, speak with plant, speak with elementals as kin, as living, breathing beings that are as alive as you and I. And that also connects everything to each other. And so these practices can be really powerful in not only letting go into the moment of what is before you, right? I think of the term of like the garden, right? When the garden, it's time to turn it over, we allow it to turn over. We allow it to die back. And it's the same thing with the energy of what's happening in your business, right? Sometimes the energy might call for us to stop. It might say, hey, you really need to go take care of yourself right now. And it's not going to happen by putting more offers or more energy or more things into this project. It's actually maybe asking you to pause, to step away, right? To take care of your health, to take care of your body in some way, to take care of someone else in the family. Every time I check in with the spirit of my business, it reroutes me into what is most needed now. And that also means I have a deep ability to be with change and not be terrified of it. I actually love it. I love when I have this great plan, idea, whatever, and then the spirit of my business comes and just dissolves it. And I go, okay, yeah, I'm okay. I can let that go. I really love that, but I'm going to let it go. Right? Because something else always comes that's more needed than what I thought I even needed. So as we begin this practice, you can also keep in mind to really take this at your own pace and follow what feels good, right? Follow your own intuition. You can't fuck it up. You can't do this wrong. You're not doing it wrong. And also, this is what I teach in the work I do of really trusting yourself, trusting this body, and trusting what you are feeling, sensing, picking up in these experiences to be real. And that takes time. And there are different reasons why some of us, it's harder to even access the body, right? Harder to access and trust what we're receiving in our body because of trauma, because of pain, because of wounding, because of experiences we've had. So this is a step by step, right? Like little by little, and really allowing this trust muscle with the spirit of our business to grow. So the first thing I want to do is offer you to get in a really comfortable position, a place that your body just feels good. A lot of people like to lay down and put something over their eyes. Other people like to sit or kneel, but really allowing yourself to just get into your body, get into a place where it feels like the bones and the tissues and the ligaments of your body can relax. Allowing yourself to get any blankets or pillows or cozy things to support you. And I'm just going to guide you on a meditative journey, a very simple journey that you can use when you feel like I should do more, right? A lot of the work I teach is doing less, is actually stop, dropping, and feeling what's here, right? Capitalism will have us go, go, go until we break and collapse. So these practices are really resisting against that, are welcoming in rest as restoration, but also as receiving messages and opening to something else. So finding this place to rest for a moment, allowing your body to settle onto the place you're laying down or sitting or kneeling. And just allowing your body to be here in whatever shape or form it's in. You don't need to be completely still to benefit from this practice. And in fact, if you find movement helpful, please bring it in. But wherever you're at, just taking a moment to place hands on your body. Really feeling your body through the connection with your hands. Perhaps taking in a slow, gentle breath here. And just starting to notice the sounds around you in the space. Allowing whatever sounds are here to be a part of this practice and not distracting from it. If you're alive enough to hear sounds, you're alive. And that is a miracle in itself. As you tune into the sounds, perhaps allowing yourself to tune into what is there to feel in this body right now. You might notice sensation. You might notice some tension or gripping. And with love and compassion, just seeing how tender you can be with yourself. Seeing how much patience you can have with this body as it slowly starts to land in this place. Allowing your bones to become heavy as you drop a little bit deeper. Perhaps starting to notice the taste in your mouth. Perhaps bringing awareness to what your jaw and your mouth and your tongue are doing. And seeing if you can just allow your body permission to let go a little bit more. Not needing to go to the to-do list or all the things you should do or have done. But what is it to just give way to this moment? To really land here with yourself. If it feels good, taking a nice, slow, deep breath in here. As you deepen into your body, allowing yourself to start to bring into your mind a meeting place. Could be a table and chairs or a bench or whatever comes into your imaginal mind. The imagination is a place of power and wisdom and also creation energy. So allowing that to come to your mind, this meeting place, perhaps allowing yourself to sit in this meeting place. And as you do, calling into your mind the spirit of your business to come sit with you. And as the spirit of your business comes to sit right next to you, notice what you see, what you feel, and what you experience. It might surprise you. It might take a shape or a form or a color or a texture or a character. Seeing if you can just be open with this process, allowing yourself to know that this place has been created. And then asking the spirit of your business just one question for today. What will it have you know? What will it have you know today? And allowing whatever answer, message, image, memory that comes to come. As you let that permeate and fill your body, your being. And as you just thank that spirit of your business for coming to meet with you, coming to be here, knowing you can return anytime you need. Taking a deep breath in and letting it go. Allowing the meeting place to start to slowly dissolve away. As you come back into the aliveness of your body and just pausing here to notice what you notice. Holding on to the wisdom you want to keep and letting go of the rest. Allowing yourself to just bring in some gentle movement here. Stretching, moving, swaying back into the space and allowing your eyes to open when ready. Feel free to journal or jot down what you felt, what you've seen. Some people like to paint. Some people like to take a walk after and just integrate. But really allowing those messages to come through. And allowing this practice to come meet you wherever you are. especially when things are slow, when they're quiet. There's always something else that is trying to come through. The question is, can we allow softness, spaciousness for it to start to emerge? Thank you for being in this practice with me. I hope this serves you. And I hope this serves the spirit of your business as you continue to build relation with them. If you would like to go deeper and know more about my work, you can find me on Substack at the Sovereign Spirit Medium, where I do a weekly Dear Ones newsletter. I do not live on any social media, so you won't find me there, or you may, but I don't know about any of it. And you can also find me, I do live shows twice a month at the Portland Grief House. That's at theportlandgriefhouse.com. And all of my work can be found at thesovereignspiritmedium.com. Right now, I am doing and about to reopen the Liberation Portal for those that are ready to step into their unique liberation in their life and ready to shift from thinking about the thing to actually doing and allowing the thing to do them. So it's a beautiful cohort full of magical beings that are really ready for change, but in a way that is moving at the pace of their body, mind, and spirit, and fully integrating what liberation looks like, feels like now in their lives. So we have times of getting together in sacred circle and sharing what is real for us, and also have times of really holding each other and being in the nonlinear through sound, through movement, through dance, through play. And times where we're also holding each other accountable for what it is we're really ready to bring through into the world and what we need some more support around as a community. So if you're interested in that, you can find more about that at thesovereignspiritmedium.com. And enrollment will reopen in November for new members. Thank you all so much and have a beautiful, beautiful day.
Thank you so much to Ash, to Cecily, and to Brigitte for their amazing contributions to this episode. If you are still listening at this point, I am assuming that you got something from one or all of these magical practices, and I hope that you will go send these creators your love. Find their newsletter list, reply to their emails, pop into their DMs, whatever it is that you like to do to tell people that like you created something that was meaningful to me. Thank you. As I wrap up today's episode, I just want to say that gratitude is also a magical practice. As we thank people for the ways that their work impacts us, it strengthens our community ties. And the stronger our communities are, the more change we can create and manifest in the world. So I am extremely grateful to these three practitioners for contributing some of their magic today, for teaching us the things that they know and sharing their wisdom with us. And I am also incredibly grateful to you, person listening to this. Yes, you. Obviously, I can't see you or like say your name, but thank you. You listening to this makes you a part of our larger community and brings us all closer to creating the types of businesses that I think can really shift how all of us relate to money, relate to creative practice, relate to business at large, and relate to each other. So thanks to you, thanks to Brigitte, Cecily, and Ash, and happy Halloween. We've got 1 month left in season 4 of Off the Grid, and I've got some more amazing interviews headed your way. So make sure you're subscribed, make sure you send this episode to a friend, And until next time, I will see you off the grid. Thanks for listening to Off the Grid. Don't forget to grab your free Leaving Social Media toolkit at offthegrid.fun/toolkit. This podcast is a Softer Sounds production. Our music is by Melissa Caitlin Carter of Making Audio Magic, and our logo is by Natelier Studio. I'm your host, Amelia Ruby, and until next time, I'll see you off the grid and on the interweb.
Let's go off the grid. Okay. Let's go off the grid. Okay. I know that you really want to put